Every single day, the USA collectively spends over $20 billion. That's a billion with a B. To put it in perspective, that's more than the entire GDP of some small countries. But here's the kicker. While the USA makes up just 4% of the global population, it accounts for nearly 1/3 of the world's consumer spending. How did the USA become the undisputed champion of consumption? And what does it mean for the rest of the world and for the global economy? Let's dive in. Let's start with the facts. According to the World Bank, the USA is responsible for about 30% of global consumer spending. To put that in context, China, the world's second largest consumer market, spends less than 1/3 of what the USA does, despite having a population 4 times larger. Even the European Union, when counted as a single bloc, falls short, with consumer spending making up just 51% of their GDP compared to the USA's 69%. But here's the twist. This isn't just about Americans being shopaholics. It's about how the USA's economy is built on consumption. Unlike other countries where manufacturing or exports drive growth, the USA's economy thrives on people buying stuff. Everything from iPhones to IKEA furniture to streaming subscriptions. So, how did the USA get here? The story begins in the aftermath of World War II. After the war, the USA had a problem. Its factories, which had been churning out tanks, planes, and weapons, no longer had a war to supply. The government faced a choice: let those factories sit idle, or retool them to produce goods for everyday life. Enter the consumer economy. Policies like the GI Bill and the expansion of credit made it easier for Americans to buy homes, cars, and appliances. By the 1950s, the USA was in the midst of a consumer boom. Shopping malls sprang up across the country, and advertising, once used to sell war bonds, now sold the idea of the American dream. Historian Kenneth Jackson, in his book Crabgrass Frontier, notes that by the 1960s, there were over 4,000 shopping centers in the USA, compared to just 8 in 1945. This wasn't just about buying things, it was about creating a culture where consumption became a way of life. But it wasn't just economics, it was psychology. Advertising shifted from simply informing people about products to creating desire. Think about it. Do people really need that new smartphone? Or did a clever ad convince them that their life would be better with it? This shift was no accident. Many of the ad executives who pioneered these techniques had cut their teeth creating propaganda during the war. Now, they used those same skills to sell everything from cars to cereal. And it worked. Over time, consumption became a core part of American identity. Americans didn't just buy things, they bought experiences, status, and even happiness. Today, the average American household spends over $77,280 a year on goods and services, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. But here's the catch. Much of that spending is fueled by debt. Credit cards, car loans, and buy now, pay later schemes have made it easier than ever to spend money people don't have. The USA's consumer habits don't just affect Americans, they shape the global economy. The USA is the largest market for everything from Hollywood movies to iPhones to fast food. Companies around the world design their products with American consumers in mind, because they know if they can succeed in the USA, they can succeed anywhere. But this dominance comes at a cost. The USA's appetite for cheap goods has driven the outsourcing of manufacturing to countries like China, where labor is cheaper. And while this has made products more affordable, it's also led to job losses in the USA and environmental degradation abroad. So, what happens next? Can the USA keep consuming at this rate? The signs are mixed. On one hand, household savings rates in the USA are at historic lows, and consumer debt has surpassed $1 trillion. On the other hand, companies are finding new ways to keep Americans spending. Subscription services, personalized ads, and even AI-driven shopping assistants. But there's a bigger question. Should the USA keep consuming like this? The environmental impact alone is staggering. According to the Global Footprint Network, if everyone lived like the average American, the world would need 5 Earths to sustain itself. And yet, the USA's economy depends on this endless cycle of consumption. So, here's the bottom line. The USA's status as the world's largest consumer isn't just about wealth or culture, it's about a system that's been decades in the making. But as the world looks to the future, it's worth asking, is this sustainable? And more importantly, is it making people happier? Because at the end of the day, consumption isn't just about buying things, it's about the choices societies make, the lives people lead, and the world they want to leave behind. And that's something worth thinking about the next time someone clicks Add to Cart. What do you think? Is the USA's consumer culture a strength or a weakness? Let me know your thoughts, and don't forget to like and share if you found this as fascinating as I did.